Okay, so play that thing for a short period.
Well.
No sleep till.
This is like a road trip song. No sleep till Brooklyn. So.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
I was thinking with this one, no sleep till frontlines.
No sleep till Kyiv.
No sleep till Kyiv.
Good morning, Arizona.
Доброго ранку, Arizona. Welcome to our podcast called Sunflowers
And Saguaros.
One of us grew up around sunflower fields.
The other hiking between saguaros. Between us, we hope to strengthen the bridge between Arizona and Ukraine, one conversation at a time.
Between Sunflowers and Saguaros podcast is hosted by me, Oля Johnson, a Ukrainian-American community member and volunteer.
And me, Andrew Ripley, an Arizonan who fell into Ukrainian advocacy through friendship and never looked back.
Each month, we sit down with people who live this story, veterans, artists, refugees, educators, local leaders, people who know what it means to carry two places in their heart.
This is our podcast.
And it is yours as well.
Ай шумлять, я слухаю, хмарки біжать, милуюся, дивуюся, чого душі мої так весело.
Hello, Arizona!
We're rolling. All right. Welcome, everybody. How you doing, Olya?
I'm doing wonderful. Cannot complain. 92 degrees? What could be better? 72. But
They say the hardest part is the last month or so of the heat. But I heard you were on a little bit of a road trip today. Is that right?
yes, I enjoyed Northern Arizona to its fullest.
Well, that's interesting because today we have someone with us who was on a little bit of a longer and more interesting road trip. So welcome, everybody. Arthur.
Arthur Nemirovsky.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Happy to be here.
All right. So you left Ukraine when you were 9 months old.
Yes.
3 decades plus or minus later, you found yourself driving a donated vehicle nonstop from Estonia to Kyiv with a retired armored truck driver
From Belgium.
from Belgium. How did this happen?
Well,
Just let me introduce a little bit proper Arthur before he starts telling. Arthur is one of our wonderful volunteers that appeared out of nowhere with his willingness, kind of similar like you, Andrew, to help and do something that would be meaningful for Ukraine and to the cause of Ukraine. While working with us, we discovered all these wonderful stories. He would say, well, by the way, I'm leaving. I'll be back in a couple of months. Where are you going? Oh, just going to Ukraine to do this convoy thingy. Turned out he has a wonderful story to tell about Ukraine and also to look at Ukraine and share his experiences at Ukraine beyond the headlines. Arthur, please, tell a little bit more about yourself.
I guess it starts from the beginning, right? I was born in 1991 in the Ukrainian Socialist Soviet Republic. A couple months later, the same Ukrainian Socialist Republic would dissolve and free Ukraine would be born. Right about the same time, I would move to the United States. That's why I sound the way I do, which is very American. Like you said, it's been about 35 years since then. As you know, there's a war going on. I decided the best use of my abilities is to help aid in that effort.
I mean, you were a baby when you moved from Ukraine into the United States. Was it your first experience going to Ukraine, or did you have any previous experiences so you knew where you're going to?
No, so this was the first time I went as an adult. I had went once before as a kid, but obviously I wasn't planning anything. That was my parents' decision to go. I didn't even want to be there. I just wanted to play Nintendo. I thought this was some weird backwards country that I didn't understand. So I didn't appreciate that trip at all. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is now, having been again, I do actually appreciate that trip from so long ago because now it's like the context for my most recent trip.
How so?
Well, I can look back on that, wanting to play Nintendo and not paying attention to anything and be like, oh, that was such a shame.
Being a kid.
Yeah, but at the same time, it gives me the motivation to be like, well, now I do need to pay attention. Now I do need to see what's going on, and I do need to take that all in because it's so valuable, right? Like you don't get those opportunities so often.
How did you get involved in that in the first place? I mean, you're Ukrainian and your parents, both of them Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. So both of them are Ukrainians. But technically speaking, you grew up American. How did you get involved in the first place?
So I had been following the war pretty much as soon as it started. I heard of this NAFO meme. It basically is supposed to sound like NATO, but it stands for North Atlantic Fellow Organization. So it's basically guys who support NATO and women, but they're not, officially part of NATO other than being a citizen of a NATO country, I guess. And so I kept seeing this meme, this NAFO meme, and like attached to these convoys that are helping Ukraine and people collecting these patches with these designs on them. And it's all like this big volunteering aid convoy scene. And I thought it looked so cool. And so I found this company, Help 99. They've kind of brought on NAFO as like a marketing tool. And that's how they've built these convoys up. And it's like crowdfunded, online, social media campaigns, all this stuff put together. And I started donating to them. And 2 years of donating, they reached out to me and asked if I was interested in joining. And that's pretty much it.
And so by joining, flying over there and actually getting behind the wheel.
Yeah, so I guess I made it sound small, but they contacted me if I was interested in taking part in the convoy. And I did say yes. And then there was an interview to kind of like make sure, are you okay to drive? Are you okay to travel international? Are you okay to basically do all these things? So there was like a vetting process there. Yeah. And after that, then they were like, okay, you're invited. Here's all the information. Here's how you get set up.
And how'd your family feel about all this? Were they involved in that decision?
They were not. I decided this all on my own. My mom was very resistant to the idea. She was worried that there would be an effort to try to mobilize me or to try to make me into a Ukrainian citizen. I told her that would be like an international scandal that Ukraine is just not interested in having, probably. And then my dad was all for it. He wanted to come with me. But it was a little too short notice to get that figured out for him.
But, I mean, I understand both sides. Being a volunteer and trying to volunteer for Ukraine is one thing. But also, I'm a mom of an adult, 20-year-old guy. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or girl, but you do worry about that because the threat is real and it's there. And it's always, you have to balance in between. But for those who has never done convoy and like far away from that, what is that in the first place? I mean, like it sounds cool, like convoy, but what is it?
It's basically just a big group of people and vehicles that get together for the sake of protection and coordination, and then they deliver those vehicles and supplies to the Ukrainian military.
And so I think just real quickly, I want to make a point here. So we heard this from the defenders who were here a few months ago. I think this is something that, if you are reading just the headlines, if you're zoned into the war, Ukraine right now, point in time, seems to be winning. They seem to be pushing back the front line. They seem to be making really strategic attacks. They seem to be affecting Russian daily life, which maybe has some political consequence. But the soldiers, when they were here, they argued that, without help, Ukraine will not win this war. And so people like Arthur here have come, have traveled great distances to help, and other people have done a lot of things too. And so I think that's one message that I want to pick up and make sure that we're carrying is like Ukraine may be doing well right now in terms of the war and things like that. But if they're left alone, Russia will simply eventually erode them down. So we need to help. And people like Arthur, I applaud you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So real quick, okay. How did you prepare for this? Like, okay, I know so I don't know if we made this clear, but you've gone now twice this year, once in February.
Take driving classes?
In high school.
So you've now done this twice, but like, how did you prepare? And I'm curious what did you learn? What did you learn from the first time and you do different the second time?
Mm-hmm. So preparation, I would say we talked about this earlier. There's a documentary on YouTube called No Sleep Till Kyiv about the NAFO convoys. I would say watching that documentary was the single most preparing thing I could have done, specifically for the convoys, because it kind of walks you through them and gives you an example of how that goes. Besides that, I mean, I've been following the war for 2 years, so I'm pretty well aware of like what's going on in the major cities, like where the front line is, like just the nature of how things are, basically. So it's kind of to say that the preparation was years of research and a lifetime of being Ukrainian.
Some things are getting with the blood, and you kind of cannot undo it, and it's there.
Right.
But the convoy itself, that's 30, 40 cars in the same time. Complete strangers stuck with each other, going for several days nonstop. That is a lot of logistics. Like, I cannot even imagine how much needs to be put in together to get it done. Can you tell a little bit more, like, from your observations, logistics on the Estonian side, and then going through the border, because my guess would be crossing the border into Ukraine would be very different experience than, for example, crossing the border when I was going to Ukraine altogether, just by the nature of what you're doing and what you tell more about that.
Yeah. So it's an Estonian company. It was started by an Estonian entrepreneur. His name's Ragnar. And it's honestly a very professional organization. I was surprised the depth to which everything is like organized to the T, right? Like they choose your driver, they choose your car, they put supplies in the thing. The whole route is planned out. Every stop is planned. Every time you fill up is planned. The groups are organized together. There's group leaders. Like, they have it all planned to a T. And then even once you're in Ukraine, there's an itinerary of like, go to the hotel, go to the media handoff. We have like a documentary event afterwards. Like, it's all like planned out to the T. The two convoys I went on were the 51st convoy and the 55th convoy.
Okay.
So like
back to back, essentially.
Yeah, and they do it every month, roughly speaking. Which is just to say 55 convoys now. Like, that's how far in they've gone, right? It's not the first or the second. We're deep in it at this point.
Yeah.
It's I would say about half Estonian, the volunteers, and that makes sense because it starts there. And then the other half is like mixed international, mostly Europeans because it's easier for them to get to. But there are usually like 2 or 3 Americans, maybe a Canadian and an Australian too. So there's like maybe 10%, I would say, are naturally English speaking.
Okay. So you would be speaking English, right?
Yeah. I found that that's actually one of the benefits of being an English speaker is that English is the language everyone has to speak.
Okay.
So being native to it, sort of native to it, but gives me the advantage, and like I almost help translate within the groups, right? Because you have Belgians and you have Estonians and French people and German people, and they're all speaking English as best as they can.
You speak Ukrainian as well, correct?
Not very well.
Okay.
No. I've been studying, but I put a lot more effort into my English. Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Now, you went through how many countries? Because you can't go straight, right? You can't go straight south.
Right. You can't go through Belarus. But you start in Estonia, which is the northernmost Baltic country. You drive down through the Baltics, so Latvia, then Lithuania. Then you go into Poland, and then you finally get into Ukraine.
So going all the way around.
Yeah.
And then you end up in Kyiv is the
Kyiv
termination?
Yep.
And it's nonstop. So no sleep?
Well, you're encouraged to sleep while your co-driver is driving.
So are you just like in the passenger seat slumped over? Do you get in the back or what do you do?
You're just in the passenger seat in the second case because we had like a van that would then get turned into like a makeshift medical evac van.
Yeah.
So there was no back seat in that one. But in the first convoy, we had an SUV that did have a back seat. But in that case, my seat reclined enough that I was okay.
All right. And you said everything was really planned out. Did anything ever go not according to plan?
On the 2 convoys I went on, the only thing that went off script was one of the drivers in another group, had a parking lot mishap and scraped the bumper a little bit. So all things considered, pretty good.
Okay.
Not bad.
Well, all right. So I'm just curious, when you think back on this convoy, like, what's the first kind of image or sound or like thing that pops into your head? Like, what's that one takeaway that you'll never forget?
From the first convoy, I would say it was actually meeting a soldier during the handoff event. He had a watermelon patch on his arm, and I asked him about it because it just seemed so random to me. I love watermelon. This was before I knew that watermelon is actually like a very popular plant and crop in Ukraine.
And symbol of Kherson region.
Yeah. So we're getting to that. This soldier, I asked him about the patch, and he said that it references his grandfather's farm that's now occupied, and it was a watermelon patch. And it just kind of like connected the whole thing for me, like how real this is for some people. Like he's in this military because literally his grandpa's farm is under occupation, right? Like it brings it much more closer to home, right? Than for me where the war is like a distant thing on identity and all this other stuff. But for them, it's literally like their family's livelihood.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that watermelon patch just sticks with me. And it was in the shape of an American flag, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'd love to see a picture of that.
I do have some pictures on my phone I can show you. But I didn't get a chance to ask about why it was in the shape of a U.S. flag. Like the event ended and we got split up and stuff. But
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So what does it feel like when you hand over the keys? I don't know if that's proverbial or, like when you get to the end, does it feel... Are you just exhausted? Are you triumphant? What does that feel like?
It's like a moment of triumph. Like, oh, we did it. We did the job, mission accomplished. But then you realize like the soldier takes the keys and then they drive off and they're going to the front or they're going to wherever, right? So it's almost like
Bittersweet?
Yeah. Yeah. And also like, well, what's next, right? And they're doing the what's next part, right? I get to go back home and we did our part, but you still think about what comes next, right? And it's not, that part's the hard part.
What about people you're driving in? Mm-hmm. I guess like when you're spending that much time together, nothing else, you kind of get really close and connected within very, very short period of time. How does it work after, like, okay, you handed keys and you have your Belgian driver now friend that you're, like, what happens next?
Well, we're friends, I guess.
Are you staying in touch?
We haven't talked since, but it's only been a month since the last one. But actually, the second driver that I went, the Belgian armored truck guy, he was on the first convoy I was on also. So this was actually my second time hanging out with him.
Oh, wow.
We changed phone numbers, we exchanged photos and stuff. And if I go on another convoy, I have a feeling he might be there again because he's doing like every convoy lately. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you go on these convoys and you make basically lifelong friends, right? Because you get stuck in a car with someone for 24 hours. There's only so many road trip songs you can get through before you're like, I have to talk to someone about something.
Yeah. So there is a saying, some philosopher back in the day said, you cannot enter the same river twice. And you did 2 convoys almost in a row because it was 54 and 55, right?
51, 55,
51, yes. So when you did that, was it the same for you?
No. The first one was in the winter, and that's when the mood was pretty pessimistic. That was when there was like rolling blackouts in Kyiv. People have generators all over the streets in order to power their phones. There was lots of like pressure with like trying to force a ceasefire on Ukraine. All these things going on at the same time, and the mood was like people were not sure about where this was going, and they were, you know, anticipating the worst at that point. Now in the summer, the mood has changed a lot, not just because of summer and it's warmer and you can go outside, but they've been doing much better on the battlefield, and the blackouts have stopped, right? And that's probably the stress on the energy infrastructure that comes with winter, and that's why they're able to take it out, and it doesn't matter so much in the summer. But the mood was very different. It was very different.
So speaking of the mood and like especially probably in winter, and you're driving through Ukraine, and like it is the country in the middle of the war, the longest war than World War II or World War I. That's pretty much the longest that continent has seen in over a century. Did you feel that you were in danger? Or for those of us who watch the movies about wars, it's like an imminent, like, what was your feeling in this respect? Were you in danger?
I never felt like I was in danger. I was lucky enough to not experience any like air raids or anything, or air raid sirens. I downloaded the app to track that sort of stuff, and so I would get notifications that they'd be in like the region nearby. But while I was there, nothing ever came near me. And that includes when I was in Kyiv for 3 days each time separately. But I never felt like I was in danger. I know that for me personally, when it comes to like accepting risk and life and death and all this sort of stuff, I kind of just, I don't know, maybe it's morbid, but I've just accepted that you don't know, like tomorrow's not a promise. You know, you could get on the highway and get into an accident just as easily as something could happen in Ukraine.
Right.
And I wouldn't have been able to stop it in either case.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's not going to slow me down, basically.
Which actually brings me to something I'm really curious about. You know, I work with Ukrainians, and it's, you know, it's like a normal life. And I was recently reading an article, and she said, you know, my life with me and my son is a lot like yours until it isn't. And I'm just kind of curious there, like, how you would describe normal life. Is it overshadowed by war? What are people like when it comes to this?
You know, people are pretty much the same. It's almost like the war is always there, and it's like an always present idea, but most people are just trying to live their everyday lives still, right? Like when you go to the coffee shop and order coffee, they don't want to talk about the war immediately, right? Because it's such a present thing that everyone's talking about it at some point, that like to kind of use up that everyday normal life to do that is like more taxing, actually, right? Like they need that time to just be a normal human and not think about war all the time. So there's like a balancing act there.
You cannot, I'm guessing, you cannot sit and wait until the war passes to live your life, because you might not even make it there. So just have to do it now and live with it.
So what are they talking about? Is normal stuff like love, like sports?
Yeah, sports, relationships. What is that music competition they love so much in Europe?
The Voice?
Eurovision, right?
Eurovision, yeah. Yes, they love Eurovision. Just everyday stuff, yeah.
What surprised you the most in Ukrainians and meeting Ukrainian people? Granted, you were there before, but that doesn't count. You were a kid and you preferred not even to pay attention. In the previous episode, we had a guest from Ukraine who was visiting the United States for the first time, and those first impressions. So I'm guessing you are the closest we can get to the first impressions about Ukrainian people as an adult going there.
I think it's that Ukrainians are much more friendly than people realize. I think there's like a stereotype of cold Eastern European people. And while that's true as like a general thing across the whole region, I find Ukrainians to be particularly friendly amongst Eastern Europeans, basically. And maybe that is a product of the war, that everyone needs help, and so everyone's much more open and receptive. But it's also in line with how I've felt about Ukrainians growing up, that they are friendly, outgoing people. Like my family's community in St. Louis growing up, they have like a Ukrainian community where they have like a party every month pretty much and like celebrate all these holidays together. And it's very much like a fun, loving community. And I think that's really underrated, like in the media scene or internationally.
Now, did they know you're American? You spoke some Ukrainian. Did that change how they reacted to you?
Yeah, it's common for Ukrainians to shame me a little bit about my level of Ukrainian.
Like in a joking way, or
yeah.
That's when you mentioned that you are Ukrainian. It's like, ooh.
Right. They're like, oh, so why don't you speak Ukrainian better? And I'm like, well, I'm also American. And then they hear my American accent, and they're like, okay, we get it. But no, they're just super appreciative that people are there to help and people are there to see them. And for me, it's a little bit like homecoming. So there's a little bit of that going on too. Like, oh, thanks for coming back. You didn't have to. You could just go live your life as an American, but you came back to see us.
All right. So Kyiv is a storied city, centuries old, right?
Yep.
Thousands of years old.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe that to someone who's from Phoenix?
Oh, that's tough because Phoenix is such a new city, right? It's like even being here feels new within the United States, like compared to the East Coast or Midwest.
I mean, there are structures in Kyiv that are older than the ruins that are near the airport.
Yeah.
By a good 1,000 years, if I'm not mistaken.
So the whole timeline is very different.
I mean, to me, Kyiv feels very much like a European city. So if you don't have a reference for that, it's kind of like older buildings that are all connected, essentially, or touching. There's very few like alleys in between buildings, at least in downtown Kyiv. So it has this kind of historic, almost like facade across all the buildings. So it feels very connected in a way that like Phoenix is very spread out and kind of low density. There, things are much more tightly packed, which probably a function of age and cars and all that. But what people really don't know about Kyiv, I think, is that it has like an almost underground city beneath it also. Like attached to the subway system, there's all these shopping stores and coffee shops and cafes, like all just under the surface. So it almost feels like a 2-layered city in that way. Like when you're in Kyiv, everyone's going underground all the time just to traverse. And it goes well with like being a bunker too.
Many people, just from your perspective, many American families like to go to Europe for vacations. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend Kyiv as a destination spot outside of the war, of course, but would you recommend Kyiv as like, wow, you definitely need to check Budapest, or definitely need to check Milan, or you need to check Krakow? Would you recommend Kyiv and any other towns? I'm guessing you were driving through others. Would you recommend as this like tourist destination?
Yeah, I would. Definitely Kyiv and Lviv. Those are the two main cities that I've been to.
Right.
And I would say they are comparable to other big European cities, right? You can get a ton of culture, ton of history, lots of art and museums, that sort of thing, like the historical culture angle.
The food scene is tremendous. From my experience, I'm inserting my opinion as well.
No, yeah. In Kyiv, the food is amazing. I've noticed that. Like the last time I was there, we got sushi, which is not something you would anticipate being good in Kyiv, but it was amazing. And it was like half the price that it is here. So that was surprising. Like I knew the Ukrainian food was going to be good there. But then when I got sushi, that was like better. Like My Scottsdale reference would be Uchi, and it wasn't quite at that level, but it was very close. And for that price, like a quarter of it, right?
Huh.
So very much worth it.
All right, try the sushi in Kyiv.
Oh my gosh, coffee shops and the kinds of coffee, it is absolutely unbelievable. I'm yet to find the specific coffee drink that they had there in the United States. Never heard about it. It is based of espresso coffee, like cappuccino, but it goes through orange, and it has this like really, really orange flavors. It's like almost old-fashioned joint coffee, married coffee, and they had a beautiful baby together. It was amazing.
That sounds really good.
Was that Lviv? Because Lviv's known for...
Believe it or not, it's my native town, Kropivnitsky. And like even there, like you can like even in small towns, the coffee culture is big. Like all these coffee shops, all these little croissants, pastries, and Ukrainian pastries, French pastries, German pastries, you name it, all of it is there, like in abundance. It's unbelievable. You can guess I like pastries and I like coffee.
And now I'm hungry.
Me too.
All right, so what was it like coming back? Right? What was the hardest part?
I think the hardest part is that you kind of have to decompress a little bit because the convoy is nonstop. The war is nonstop. It's all like very high pressure, high stakes type of situation. So coming back to Phoenix is very much like, oh, the pressure's off. Everyone's back to relaxing and, spreading out, especially in the summer here. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of like jet lag on top of like just the vibe is so completely different.
Vibe lag.
It takes like almost a week to, I feel like, get my head back in the pace of Phoenix.
Did what were your friends' reaction like when you left, but also when you came home? Like, were they supportive? Did they not get it?
No, they totally got it. And they were very supportive too. They were mostly just like, oh, we want to hear about it. But make sure you're rested before you talk to us. Because I think they knew that it was a big deal. So they didn't want to like rush anything. But no, honestly, everyone I've talked to has been supportive. The least supportive person was my mom. And she's just
worried.
She's worried supportive. Yeah. Not like, don't do it. Well, she did say don't do it, but she's not going to force anything.
Is she asking questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she was so much better the second time around. The second time she was just like, okay, just, let me know where you're at and if you're okay.
So after 2 convoys, where's your head at? Will you do it again? Will you do something different?
I would do it again. The biggest question is finance and availability.
Because you're paying for the flight and...
Yeah, you have to... The only part they're covering is the convoy itself and the stay in Kyiv and one dinner in Kyiv, which is like the big group party dinner. Everything else you have to do yourself. So yeah, the international travel, the taking out like almost 2 weeks of your time, all that sort of stuff, prevents me from doing it all the time. But I would definitely go again. It's just a question of scheduling for me. Yeah.
And, it could be substantial because staying in the hotels, even probably, I'm guessing, in Estonia, in and out, it can add up.
It's mostly the flights. That's what costs the most. And that's why it's more popular for Europeans to do the convoy because, if you're flying from France to Estonia, that's like 2 hours and you're there.
You can take a train and be there. Yeah.
Whereas for me, I need 2 days of planes.
So it's kind of a good segue. Our question of the month from the community, which shout out, we have a Discord. The link's in the show notes. Definitely invite people to join us there. It's a brand new thing for us at Cactus and Trizub, so definitely would love to have people join in. And it's not just about the podcast; it's about really anything. So it's a good place for community and all that. But Dr. Huxtes, that's his username anyway. He asked he had a 2-prong question, and he asked, "What are some tangible things people here, Phoenicians, can do now to help Ukraine?" And also, maybe what are some of the first steps or organizations to look for those interested traveling to Ukraine to volunteer?
Okay. So the first question for Phoenicians, the most tangible thing you could do would be to get in touch with Ukrainians in your local community. You mentioned Cactus and Trezub. That's probably the best for like just quickly finding a Ukrainian event, Ukrainian people that you could get in contact with. That I think is the most tangible upfront thing you could do. The second layer would be like donating to Ukraine, as tangible as spending money is. I guess that varies.
I would suggest donate to the charities that you trust, because unfortunately there are many fraudsters in the United States as well that are picking up the story of Ukraine and the war of Ukraine and using to their benefit. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and look at those charities and see what they have done so far, because it's year 5.
Yeah.
And by now they should be proven either what they are doing, or if not, then at least question it.
Yeah, and there is information about this on the Cactus and Trezub website.
Yes.
So there's trusted organizations over there that if you are looking to donate money but you don't know who to donate it to, those are real safe options. There's honestly a lot out there. You can even just, if you know Ukrainian, they're going to know. So just
And
talk
by
to
no
them.
means we are not promoting those organizations. It is just our honest opinion in living in it for past 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say also pursue your interests, right?
Yes.
Like that's how I found NAFO and the convoys was I had interest in like the internet meme disinformation space, right? And that's what brought me there. But you know, if you're really into like music and theater, I'm sure there are Ukrainian like organizations that are working with Ukrainian music and art, right?
Yes, we have actually a Ukrainian Arizonian theater in here. They started a year ago, and so far they're wonderful, and they've done multiple wonderful things.
There's was it biannual clothing drive that's put on by Ukrainian Arizona? There's lots of ways to participate.
Yes.
But I think I really like your answer, because donating is obviously very helpful, and people can do that from anywhere, on their couch. Mm-hmm. But also attending these events is, I found extremely worthwhile. I don't know, gives you more than, I don't know exactly what word I'm looking for, but it helps you connect.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or even if you do not have time to or money to donate, come join the events, the public events, come join the speaking series, come join the rallies, and just be around people. And that means a lot already for everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gives you something cool to talk about.
Yeah. Meet new friends.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Hugh. And then let's see.
Шарова блискавка?
Yeah, let me look at something real quickly. I do want to kind of put out maybe a little bit of a disclaimer. I think we talked about this earlier. I wouldn't necessarily jump to going over there. You really spent a good amount of time understanding what you were getting into, and I think that's really important. Last thing you want is to go over there and be a burden to the people there.
Yeah. When it comes to going to Ukraine, it's the first thing you have to understand is that there's the war, but it's also everything you would do before that, right? This is an international trip. You need to have a passport. You need to know how to navigate foreign languages. You need to know how to go to the airport and be comfortable talking to people who don't speak English. Like, you have to be able to do all these things kind of easily, right? Yeah. Before you start opening up the question of, can I go into a war zone and now do all these things at the same time? Yeah. So that's something worth considering if you're going to help. But it's also worth looking at, like, you can be helpful as just going as a tourist and not wanting to volunteer, but volunteering like your time and money to support Ukrainian industries. Mm-hmm. That's a different angle, but I think it is one worthwhile too, as long as you understand that you're going into a war zone as a tourist, right? Just as opposed to going as a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bliskavka.
Yep.
Krupa.
Sharova.
There we go. Lightning round. All right, so Arthur, this is a round where basically we're going to say something short, and you give us a short answer.
Sure.
All right, so let's see. You mentioned this road trip song.
Oh, Ventura Highway by America.
All right. You need to play it. Okay. Next one. Worst drivers. Ukrainians, so Kiev or Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Why? Okay, now you know. Okay, it's a follow-up question. Why?
I think Phoenix drivers are spoiled by the weather and the quality of the roads. There's never any rain, so there's no potholes. The roads are super wide, so there's plenty of room to spread out. No one uses their blinker because why would you when there's so much room and so much space? But
Overrated.
so it's very easy to drive here, but because of that, the bar for driving is very low. Yeah.
Best new phrase that you brought home.
New phrase. The phrase that's in my mind from the trip is deep strike campaign. Just because I think it's funny as like a euphemism, but
Okay. Best thing you ate. I got it. You like sushi other than sushi.
the best thing I ate was vareniki.
But
Because I love vareniki.
Okay.
Those are Ukrainian dumplings, for anyone who doesn't know. Specifically just potato and cheese. Like, I'm a simple guy. I love
Have you ever had Georgian food? Because it is really widespread cuisine, Georgian cuisine. Have you ever had it?
We wanted to. We had a plan to get Georgian food during the first convoy, but the restaurant was actually shut down because of power outages.
Okay.
So, working on it.
Next time.
All right. Essential, I'm on a convoy amenity.
Oh, power bank. Definitely. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you think about your trip, what would be the most memorable view you can visualize in front of you right now as you speak and you think about it?
I guess the Motherland Monument. The statue with the sword and the shield. She's holding them up, and it's...
Oh, I saw a picture of you guys in front of that.
Yeah. To me, it's almost like a Statue of Liberty vibe, but more like protective.
You want fun fact?
Yeah.
When it was built during Soviet Union times, and there is equivalent statue done by the same architect in Russia. Google it. But Mother Ukraine is not facing the West that is supposed to defend in the communist country. It is facing Russia, Moscow specifically. If you look at the direction, it is directed specifically toward the capital city of Moscow.
Towards the east.
Yep.
And she's
did
got
not
a
know that.
shield and a sword, right?
Yes, he was sending the message
And this
back
is
in the days.
This is a giant statue in the center of town, right?
Yes, you can actually go inside of the statue, and there is World War II museum inside of the statue, and it's like a two or three story. I don't remember on the top of my head. Like, but you can take elevator, and like it is a museum inside of the statue.
Yep.
That is how huge it is.
Yeah. You can go up it, too.
Have you done it?
I
I've
did
never
not.
done it.
No,
Okay.
No, we didn't have time.
Yeah.
All right. So move on.
Yes.
So next we've got our sunflower or saguaro round.
I'm looking at you right now. 'Cause
All right. So this round, this is like a game. We're just going to give you a phrase, and you got to decide. Actually, I guess all three of us can participate. So we can say whether it's a sunflower or a saguaro.
okay.
So I'm going to say hot dog.
Oh,
Now you put in this context.
that's tough. I'm going to say sunflower And this is a revised opinion.
Oh.
If you had asked me this before I'd been on any convoys, I would have said
American.
sunflower. Yeah, easily. Oh, I would have said Chicago or something. But in Ukraine, hot dogs are super popular. And I had no idea until I had visited on the convoys, and you'd go through a lot of gas stations, and they have like a whole plethora of hot dogs. You can get Nathan's hot dogs in Ukrainian gas stations.
Really?
Which are like a famous New
New
York
York,
hot
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that on many gas stations you can get actually macaroons.
Yeah.
Forget about your whatever, like, you know, like what do you call, like those little tiny donuts that you can get here, like macaroons. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well,
next one would be
real quick.
Yes.
So I want to. So yeah, this is kind of both. I didn't know because I actually had a friend ask me, "What is a hot dog?" from over there, and I was like, "That's a good question. How do I explain a hot dog? Like, is it a sausage? Is it its own thing?" I had to Google this because I've never thought to think what differentiates a hot dog from a sausage or whatever. Like, but I was surprised because, of course, you know, hot dogs to me is a very quintessential American thing. In Phoenix, we have kind of a local variety called a Sonoran dog.
Yes.
Have you guys had this?
I have.
Nuh-uh.
You haven't had it?
No, where can you get it?
I've only really had it at like roadside places.
Same.
Yeah. So like you see the people with the hot dog vending machines like out in the street after like a concert or a comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if they have those Sonoran dog. So as I understand it, you got the hot dog, but it's wrapped in bacon, and then you've got it on a special bun. I think it's called Bolillo bun, and then they top it with like some onions and some tomatoes. But then they also put like this special. It's not actually as spicy as it sounds, but they put this jalapeno sauce, salsa on it. So it's good. I wanted it to be really spicy, but it wasn't actually that spicy. So if you want it spicy, maybe ask them to make it spicy. But then in Kyiv, they have, this is new to me. I just learned about this, but I think I've had it before. I just didn't think about it. But it's called Kavizka Pripechka. Is that right? Like a...
Ковбаска, київська припічка.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Which is just like a hot...
Київська випічка, not припічка, випічка, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's like Kyiv pastry, if you wish, but like it's like, it is more general.
It's like a hot dog in a bun.
Yeah.
In
Pigs in a blanket,
deep
but
fried.
just like hot dog size.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Anybody else got one?
Actually, yes. Since, okay, is it sunflower or Sawara Snapchat filters?
Well,
Saguaro?
Luxury specifically.
I guess Saguaro, but I haven't had a Snapchat in like 8 years.
I'm guessing a Ukrainian developer built that. So I'm going to change my opinion. I'm going to say it's the sunflower. Well, they're really good developers.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was actually developed in as a Odessa-based startup technology, and then eventually it has been sold. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay, good for Ukraine.
You know, every single time when you'll be doing like instead of your face, like whatever, the kitten face or other, like whatever you want to, that's Ukraine.
Right, the dog ears and
yeah,
stuff.
like that, like, you know, like the silly stuff.
It is kind of crazy. Like my daughter will do that. I can see what she's going to look like when she's old. It's really...
Why would you do it to yourself? I'm trying to close my eyes and not think about it.
I don't, but she's like, here, Dad, look. And I'm like... It's like horrifying. All right, let's see. I think let's go ahead and move on. So we got a lot going on this month in terms of local events here in Phoenix.
Yes, August is a big month.
Yeah, so let's talk about a few of those.
All right.
So the big one we talked about last time is the Ukrainian Independence Day, and definitely would encourage people to go. It will have a lot of Ukrainian food, dancing, singing. There'll be probably raffles, maybe a puppet show like last time. Definitely recommend it. You can find all this stuff on the Cactus and Trizub website.
Or Ukrainian Arizona Facebook page. That is exactly the organization that is organizing it.
Yeah, that one's not a Cactus and Trizub event. No. But we
they're helping them.
Definitely want to support that and definitely recommend people coming out to it. It's a really good time. It's a good family event, too. And then we've got Olya.
That's me.
When this comes out in a couple days, we'll be speaking at ASU.
Yes. What we are doing, I'm going to be one of the guest speakers at ASU Mirabella community. It is a wonderful, very interesting community. And I will be the third out of 3 speaking engagements talking about Ukrainian women. Specifically, I will be talking about Princess Olga of Kiev and her impact, what she brought, and what is she famous for, and very fascinating story that still resonates nowadays, at least to me for sure. So if you happen to have some time on Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m., Mirabella Community Center, Mirabella Retirement Center, please come over. It's for free, and just enjoy it.
I wanna highly recommend this. So I saw an earlier version of this lecture, and Princess Olga of Kiev is Olga.
Yes.
Is an amazing historical figure. And I'll just say this. She went on this giant 4-stop revenge tour.
What are you doing?
And then become a saint. Well, anyway, all right, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Spoilers.
It is, go see it. This is one you'll remember.
Thank you.
And then we also have, over Labor Day, there's going to be a film festival. And we've got Mavka. I forget the exact title name, but you can find this on our event page. It's
Mavka, the forest story.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a modern retelling of Mavka, who's kind of like a forest dryad or something like this.
The story itself, it's a modern returning of the classical story from 1800. It was about Mavka, and it is based off pre-Christian beliefs, Ukrainian beliefs, or Slavic people beliefs about story of a beautiful forest spirit that fell in love with the human and what happened with that.
And she's got antlers, right?
I'm not going to tell about it.
I'm wearing the shirt.
Come visit
I know
and
you
discover.
guys can't see it, but...
Well, I do, but people need to come and discover it themselves.
So Arthur's going to be there, and
Yes.
he's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Arizona Ukrainian events. And so if you want to meet Arthur, definitely go down to that. But also, I think the show will be amazing, and it's a cool, really cool story. There's also, I'll plug this for any families, there is a cartoon version of this that came out recently. It's really good, and my daughter loved it.
Beautiful soundtrack, by the way. Absolutely beautiful soundtrack to that.
Very nice. I love a good soundtrack.
Yes. Strongly recommended.
All right. Well, I think that's it.
Thank you very much for your time. Arthur.
Arthur.
Thank you very much for
This was awesome.
sharing your story and coming here and telling it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm always happy to share about Ukraine.
And everything you've done to support them really, really is admirable. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.